Hello, everyone. We are live PYP Boxing here. We're going to have boxing with Chris. Join me and David. David may be a little bit late today, but we got some great topics. We're going to talk about the unfortunate incident, 2 deaths in Japan that happened. That's unfortunate. Can we prevent these things? There's 3 dead already in the year. We're also going to talk about Boots Ennis. Boots Ennis apparently has made an offer to Vergil, and then Vergil says there was never any offer. I guess Boots, Pops and Boots have said they want to fight in January. And Vergil is saying, no way. We're not fighting you in January, and we don't know when we're going to fight you. Are we ever going to see this fight or not, right? And, a couple more topics here. It's going to be great. We got a really good show. Boxing with Chris is exciting, man. He's a very, very experienced reporter. He's worked a ton of big fights. So it's going to be interesting having him on. Dave and I haven't done a few shows. He's been busy on vacation helping his wife and his family out there in Dallas. But glad to have him back today, man. Haven't done a show with him in a few weeks. So it's going to be fun, man. We're going to be back together with the talented boxing with Chris. What else are we going to talk about today? I have a few things on the list here. Yeah, Tio said he wants to fight Ryan, but Shakur's in there saying stop looking for them. I'm right here. Who would you guys like to see Ryan with, Tio or Shakur? I personally would like to see. Well, actually, Tio, Shakur, Ryan, Shakur. Who would you guys like to see? I'd like to see, and I'd like to see Tiafimo and Shakur. Man, Ryan is too big for these guys. Tiafimo's chasing money up there. He's a 140 guy. He's a really small guy. He's very short. He's shorter than Shakur. He's shorter than most of these guys. So when he's talking about going up to welterweight, I think it's more of a money grab thing for him. I mean, his last fight was at 140. He's never fought at 147. So I think it's just too much weight for him anyway. I think it's a pipe dream. I mean, we all have seen Ryan Garcia, man. He's big. He's huge. He could probably be a middleweight and sometime soon. And he never really trains much, so he probably could be, a heavyweight. I'm sorry, a middleweight soon. And then also, we are going to name our top 3 middleweights of all time, and we're going to rank them from 1 to 3. Each and every one of us, we're going to have 4 minutes to give our case about each person we put on there. So it's going to be a darn good show. You got Boxing with Chris right with us already, man. Chris, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I had to
Badass, man. We're gonna be one man short. Actually, no. Connor, Mile High Hustle will be joining us, the heavyweight boxer. But David will be on here in just a minute, man. He's gonna be late. But how are you doing, man? How was your weekend?
It's good. It's good. Good week. Good week. Can't complain. We're getting closer to Canelo Crawford, and surprisingly, a guy that didn't want this fight. I'm kind of excited.
Did you watch any boxing this weekend?
Not really. Not really.
Yeah, I didn't watch the Nick Ball one yesterday. I really wanted to, but I had to work. But I did catch the one on Friday, man. Over in they had a fight in Libya.
Oh yeah. They had all the stars out there. Yeah, I saw a little bit of that.
Yeah, they had the IBF 115 title eliminator, and Micro Cuello, the Argentinian Olympian, beat Sergio Chacal Rios from Mexico. Heavy hitter, but looks like that guy just went to get a paycheck. He laid down pretty quick. But now you have Micro Cuello is the next in line for Willy Pardo Garcia, who's the IBF champion at 115. And then you got Bam with the other fights, with all the other belts.
Some people think Bam is in for a dangerous fight in the November. My friend thinks that. I don't think Bam gets upset, but he said Bam is in for a different kind of fight. He don't think he walks over. Forgot the guy's name because he was here at the presser in New York.
He's got another tough gentleman ahead of him. I thought the African Cafu was a lot tougher than the gentleman he's going to meet now. So I don't know, but I mean he made it look easy against Cafu, and and I spoke with him. I was there. I was covering it for Fight Hype, and Bam said that was the hardest fight he's ever had to do in his life. I mean, he had to work so hard to make it look that good. Like he had to constantly be on his toes because that's how dangerous that African fellow Cafu was.
I feel like Bam gets bored and like his knockdowns, and he takes punishment because I feel like sometimes I wouldn't say in awe of himself, kind of almost like an in awe of himself, to be honest. Like he admires his work sometimes.
Yeah,
Or he gets too greedy when he's up super big. Like that's why I feel like he went down against Gallo, a fight that he was comfortably winning, and then he gets, he tries to go in there reckless. Gallo puts him down, and he needed that to wake him up before he closed the show. And I feel like it kind of is gonna be the same with this guy on that November 22nd card. I'm really looking forward to that fight and the Devin Haney fight. I'm actually picking Devin Haney to beat Norman.
yeah.
A lot
Oh
of people
wow,
aren't.
you're picking Haney against
Haney by
monster like Norman.
Haney by snoozer.
Really? Okay, Haney by snoozer.
Haney
I
wins a
don't know if
boring
he's
one.
going to be a track star. I think he's going to dig in, man. What do you think, Malhai?
Man, Haney's a hit or miss, man. Sometimes he super impresses me. Like before the Ryan fight, I had him being. Sorry, my grandkids are here. I had him beating Ryan on paper, man. Being honest
Me
with you, and
too.
then when Ryan did, you know, he didn't look. He got caught. I don't know. I don't know. I can understand as a fighter getting caught like that, getting knocked out, and it could be tough. You know what I mean? So I get it. I
Yeah,
get it. He got on his bike in that other fight. We'll see what happens. Norman Jr. is gonna I think gonna force him to fight. I think he's gonna be able to cut the ring off. So he's gonna have to
yeah.
fight.
Yeah, man. Big fights coming up, man. But let's just jump right into it, guys. Listen, two Japanese fighters died. I think they were on the same card. Is that right, Chris? They're on the same card?
Yeah, definitely we're on the same car, so
And,
definitely a moment of
both of them
silence for
have
this
died.
gentleman.
Yeah, both of them have died. Hiramosa Yurakawa and Shintashi Katatari. Que en paz descansen los dos. Sad for the families. Our condolences. But that's three fighters that have died this year, guys. I mean, what are your thoughts, man? What are your thoughts? Can we make this any safer for these guys? What are your thoughts? I mean, do we just go to bigger gloves? Do we maybe start wearing some type of padding? The NFL, they're making all kinds of changes. You got guys flying out there looking like ET with these big old caskets on now. So, I mean, what do you think, man? Should we just start changing too? Everybody's changing. The MLB, they wear face guards.
I think 12 ounces should be okay. I don't
Right.
think 12 ounces will be wrong. I don't really think, because you're not far from it if some heavyweights are fighting with 10-ounce gloves. So I don't think 2 ounces. I think it can make a difference. You fight in 12 ounces, and there's winning sells gloves up to 20 ounces.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't see it. I don't see why.
Yeah. How about headgear? I think that's a good solution. The 12. I'm with you on that. I didn't think about that. But what about the headgear? What do you think on that, boxing with Chris?
Nah, I think that's gonna take away from the sport, man. To put a headgear in boxing, it's gonna be like people are gonna look at it like professional sparring,
Right. Right.
uh,
Yeah.
so maybe I think we keep it at 12, but I don't know. I feel like those are just crazy things that just happen in the sport, because we've seen guys take bigger punishment that you'd be like, yeah, he's not gonna be the same, and then we see this guy that doesn't take nowhere near the amount of punishment. From when I speak to, I got a friend, he's a nurse, and he's like, everybody's different. He's like, I've had guys here, get shot, and he works in a trauma room, and they're never the same. And then I've seen the guys get shot 6-7 times within 6 months. They're on their feet. Everybody's not the same. Every brain is not the same. So it's just one of those things. I wouldn't even say we can prevent it. We can always just give what we think can happen. It's hard. It's just the the casualties that's going to happen between the sport. Boxing, if I'm not mistaken, gets about 68 deaths a year, 12 months in a year. So you're looking at maybe 1 to 2 deaths a month. This weekend has been 2 in a weekend, which is very sad. So
Yeah.
condolences, moment of silence for the family. And, so it's a rough sport. Nobody wants to die at a job that you love doing. And it's just sad all around, man. That's why I don't watch the UFC, but I've seen a little bit of the UFC when a guy takes that big hit, the guy with the dread stops it immediately.
Yeah.
I was just talking this with my boys. Oh, UFC is more brutal. I was like, bro, and boxing, as long as you got your feet under you and you can understand how many reps the finger got up, he's probably going to let you fight knowing you still can't fight. He's at UFC, I've seen guys get hit with a flush shot. And the guys on Queer Street, he looks like he can defend himself, but the referee won't even risk it. He stops the fight immediately. So, but then that's going to cause a lot of thing. Because imagine if a guy is on the ropes, lands a big overhand right, and the guy just drops his hands and the ref steps away, doesn't even give him a chance to defend himself. You'll have more quote unquote bad stoppages. So, I don't know. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard.
Yeah. One last question before I move on to Mile High. What about rounds? Should we just go less rounds?
No, we should keep it at 12. Keep it at 12. 12
Okay.
is fine. 12 is fine. We don't need 15 anymore either. 12 is perfectly fine.
Yeah. So on to you, Mile High. I was thinking, like I said, in the NFL, they're wearing humongous helmets now. They're actually wearing helmets on helmets. They look really weird running down the field. That's changing. In the Major League Baseball, they got masks now at the plate. Everybody's changing to be safer. What would you change, about boxing to prevent stuff like this happening, man? Less rounds, bigger gloves, like Chris said. Headgear in my mind may be good.
You know what? I'm gonna say. You know what? Boxing's a dangerous sport. We can't deny that. These guys, everyone getting in the ring understands the danger. I think the problem lies more in the weight cutting, in these weight cuts and these dehydration clauses. You know what I mean? These are lighter weight fighters, and when you dehydrate yourself, the last thing to hydrate your brain. And then they're getting in and throwing chingatazos. That ain't, taking punishment. I think a lot of that comes from that. Not all of it, but it's a violent sport, man. It's a violent sport, and I think that's why boxing is so interesting. That's why people love boxing. Rest in peace to those dudes. I wasn't really. I didn't see the fights where they got hurt. Um, I would like to know if there was a hydration clause, or if they were, guys that are bigger that were trying to make weight. You know what I mean? That's what happens. You've seen with Nigel, with Ben and what's his name, when they fought. The dad was super furious. He didn't want his son to fight. He was like, man, and both those guys had injuries in their foot. They almost killed guys in the ring. Both of them had that. The
Yeah.
one dad, I think both of them carry that with them. But it's a dangerous sport, man. But I think everybody knows what they're getting into when they step in that ring. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it ain't tragic dying doing something you love. To be honest with you, and everybody who gets in that ring, most of them guys love it. They can't live without it. Just what it is.
Yeah, salute to Chicano Tube, the boxing promoter out there who puts on these awesome YouTube fights. He put on the fight that Connor was on. How you doing, David?
What's going on, fellas?
David, listen, man. 2 unfortunate deaths, both of them on the same card. What can we do to make it better, man? I think maybe some headgear. Maybe less rounds. 8 rounds, maybe 10 rounds. For the championship rounds, 10. Something's got to happen. I like maybe headgear, not big headgear. We can come up with something, right? The NFL's come up with all kinds of awesome new padding and stuff. Yeah, it looks weird. It'll take time to get used to it. I like the headgear thing. I mean, what would you do, man? I mean, anything you could think of, or anything you can bring new to the table. And also, David, just to add another one, do you think in Japan they go a little bit too far, let these guys go a little bit too much?
So the first question, as for headgear, I'm against it, man. I don't think headgear makes a difference. You're still taking the blow to the head. Boxers have said for many years the headgear doesn't protect you against concussions. It just protects you against cuts, and avoiding bruises and stuff. So unless you're wearing a football helmet, I don't know if that would even help you that much either. So no, I don't think headgear is the answer. I don't think changing the rounds is an answer either. Because these things, man, it can only take one punch. I was watching this doctor in preparation for this video. There was this doctor's video. It's called Dr. Sutterer. And he did a pretty good video explaining the injury, explaining what happened. It wasn't like they let the fight go too long. Like, this dude didn't show any kind of signs. This last guy, the second one, I don't know about the first one, but the second one, he didn't show any signs of like losing consciousness or like he was going too far. Like he was trying to extend the fight after so many punches. It wasn't like that. He was fine. He accepted the loss. It wasn't until he got to the back in the locker room that he started complaining about his eyes burning, headaches and shit. So the brother tweeted something that night. The brother of the guy that deceased, the second fighter, and he was complaining about how long it took to get an ambulance to take his brother to the hospital. It took like 40 minutes. And he wrote, it was from his point of view. So I don't know, it's just one side of the story, but he said, we had to carry this guy down the stairs. We couldn't take him down an elevator. It was crazy. But I think the protocols need to be in place to get a fighter the help that he needs as quick as possible. And a lot of times, man, these boxing venues, they only have one ambulance waiting for them in the back. So what happens when one of the fighters on an earlier card needs to use that ambulance? They got to wait on another one to come back and take the fighter to the hospital. So I think the protocols, the safety protocols, they just need to be tip top, man, because when you have a whole card, when you have multiple fights going on one fight card, there's a chance that every fighter on there is going to need help. So what do you do in that circumstance, right? Because a lot of times, the faster that they get the help, the more chances they have of surviving something that's very serious.
Yeah. I mean, they got to put something in place. It's got to get a little bit safer. This is the third death this year. And every year, it seems there's at least one or two. Hopefully, it gets safer.
One more thing, One more thing about that, though. Sometimes these injuries become worse when fighters cut weight. They cut weight too much, and they're not making a safe weight in order to compete in that ring, and their brains are already, in for lack of better medical terms, they're dried out because your brain needs fluids, man. And when you dehydrated your body to try to make a weight that's not healthy for you, you don't recover fast enough in just 24 hours a lot of times. So no matter how much water you try to drink after that weigh-in, that still leaves you susceptible to getting hurt the next day, especially when you're getting hit in the head. So I don't think the amount of rounds is going to make a difference. I don't think headgear is going to make a difference. I think that boxing is just plain and simple, like Chris said, it's a dangerous sport. And I think you just got to be ready to help the fighters get the help that they need as soon as possible. So make sure those protocols are tight.
Yeah, que en paz descansen todos. We're sorry, condolences to their families, y que en paz descansen los dos. Mile High, I'm going to go to you with this next topic. I love this next topic. It involves a Tejano. Look, Vergil's team says, heck no, we're not fighting Boots in January or anytime soon, because Boots' team said that they had something going already in January. So Vergil's team came out de volada and said, we're not doing anything now or later. What do you think about all that mess, Mile High? Are we even going to see this fight ever? I mean, is this ever going to happen for us? Or are we just going to see this back and forth and it never happening? I mean, Vergil's already 27. We got to see something from him. As far as a big fight.
I don't know, man. I don't know if Boots is just trying to promote himself. There's been a lot of back and forth. There's been a lot of talks about him backing out of fights, him doing this with more than one fighter. You know what I mean? Having a verbal agreement and then not wanting to step up to the plate. So I don't know. He definitely needs to step up in competition. You know, it's time for him. You know, I like him. I think he's a good fighter. I think he's but a lot of his guys are sold on him. Like he's the next second coming. Like he could whoop Crawford. He's got to prove that still, man. He's got to get in there. You know, Crawford doesn't gain nothing from fighting him, and Virgil. I don't know if Virgil, gets anything from fighting him. He's moving up into Virgil's weight class. You know what I mean? Virgil, I believe, is already champion at that weight. So Virgil needs to focus on all the guys who are holding the belts. You know, he's got bigger, fish to fry. Like, hey, let's get a couple more of these belts, and I control everything. He's definitely already the A side. So this might just be jockeying for money and probably trying to catch a buzz to see where the fight's at. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, listen, Chris. Boots' pops is saying we got chingazos. We're ready to go. And Virgil's dad saying, no, we don't got no chingazos. Nothing is on paper. We're not going to fight now or soon. I mean, what do you think of all this? Who do you believe?
It's 50-50, but I gotta disagree a little bit with Mount High in certain things, because let's not forget Boots was at least a unified champion in the division. You get what I'm saying? But I do disagree with Boots trying to get a tune-up, considering he was a unified champion in the division. You get what I'm saying? Like, when you want to make a fight with a guy like Vergil Ortiz, I thought the perfect match for him was the common opponent, Sergey Bohachuk. I thought that was the perfect fight for him. You don't got to get a title fight, but fight a guy in the top 10, maybe even in the top 7. Fighting a guy outside the top 15, when that's cool if you were just moving up with, you were not a champion in the weight, but when you're a unified champion, I think at minimum coming up to the next weight class should at least be a former champ or at least a respectable contender. And a couple things haven't been the best for him business-wise. Like, I don't know, some things he's won about it wrong business-wise, but I still believe it, because if I'm not mistaken, him and Virgil are the same age. Definitely, so it's not too far apart, and I feel like so far Boots has had the better accoladed career. Virgil has a bit of more star power, but Boots hasn't, to be honest, to me, he hasn't disappointed me. He's just done some questionable business tactics, and I want him to grab his career by the neck, and you just live and die on your own choices. But I definitely did not like the whole tune-up, Josh Kelly, Rashidi Ellis thing. A guy of his caliber, I don't believe he should be taking a guy under his star status, moving up into a new weight division. As for Virgil, let's see what champion can he get. It's gonna be hard for him to get. I don't at 154, considering 2 of the belts are with the PBC. It's gonna be hard for anybody to get a shot at any of those guys. Just considering business wise, not even ranking wise, any of those things. I really think Mortazayev and Sebastian Fundora, trying to get any of those 2 guys in the ring business wise is gonna be hard.
It is going to be tough, David. Boots Pop is saying, hey, man, January, pull up, dog. And Virgil's dad saying, Chalucas, I ain't doing none of that, and not anytime soon. Do you take that as fear in Ortiz's team, or what is it? Who do you believe? They say these guys, both sides say they're lying. Who do you believe?
So actually, bro, that's not the way I heard it. It was like Eddie Hearn was saying that they have an agreement in place. Nothing's been signed. Boots apparently signed an agreement that after his next tune-up, Vergil Ortiz will be in early 2026. But Hearn said this, Virgil on their side, they have yet to formally agree to it, but we've talked with Golden Boy. And they said that everything's been agreed to, more or less, right? It's just a loose agreement, basically a handshake.
Right.
And the problem is Virgil Sr. is saying, hey, man, nobody talked to me. And then Virgil's manager, Rich Merigian, whatever that dude's name.
Yeah.
That vato jumped in too. He said, hey, there is no agreement unless I'm at the table. He wrote a long tweet about it. So like Virgil's side is getting all up in arms, right? But that doesn't mean that talks didn't take place. it's possible that Hearn and or maybe Oscar De La Hoya or Eric Gomez or somebody from Golden Boy sat down and said, yo, let's outline the terms. What is something that we can bring to these guys that they might agree to? So that's probably what happens. Just a loose agreement, loose talks, right?
Yeah.
But it does sound like Vergil's team is going to play hardball if they do come together and start negotiating. They're going to say, hey, man, we tried to fight Boots 2 times and they turned us down both times. And you know what's going to be the problem is both of those times were under Turki Al-Sheikh. Turki Al-Sheikh was going to pay them money. For those 2 fights. Do you think Vergil's going to want to expect that same deal, right?
Yeah.
These talks aren't happening with Turki Al-Sheikh, bro. So that price point that they might have had during those first 2 talks is not going to be the same price point.
It probably won't.
That might be where there might be some issues, man. But I do think that fight needs to happen.
I don't need Turki Al-Sheikh for this fight, considering one guy's with Eddie Hearn and one guy's with Golden Boy.
No. But that's not what I'm saying, though, Chris. I'm saying Turki Al-Sheikh was involved in those first talks. That was Turkey money. Turkey money ain't everybody else money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's going to be Matchroom and Golden Boy that have to foot the bill for these talks.
Hey, Oscar's got some cash.
He got cash, bro. No doubt about it. He don't got Turkey money. He doesn't have Turkey money.
Oh, nobody does at this point, man. He's overpaying. But with the whole TKO thing, his agenda is coming true now. He wants to give basically fighters a base pay. So we're gonna see, man. It's gonna be a lot of promotional things going on, man. But let's see how it goes, man. I think it should happen, but I don't know. Do you want Boots in there right away? Should you let somebody get a belt, make the fight more meaningful, or do you just want to send 2 young guys to duke it out? Either or, people want to see the fight, whether there's belts involved or not. Obviously, belts make a fight more marketable for things, but give us a squabble, man. Why not? Give us a squabble. I don't see why not.
Looks like we have Turkey in the house or something.
Turkey's here, man. Go check him out. Turkey, get back.
Yo,
Go back.
I hated what he did after the Subriel Matias and Alberto Puello fight. Because I'm thinking business wise. Remember, this is
because nobody wants to see that guy Dalton Smith.
This is before Tank's issues came out that he got arrested again, right? So in my head, I'm like, okay, if Alberto Puello wins this fight, they're gonna make him unify with Gary Antoine Russell on a Tank undercard. It was gonna be all championship fights. It was gonna be Scooter moving up to 130 to fight O'Shaquie Foster, a unification bout between Gary and Alberto Puello, and the rematch between Tank and Roach. That was really PBC's plan. Tank gets arrested. Puello loses the belt. They don't want to give him a rematch clause on top of that. He has a rematch clause because I spoke to Puello. He's in New York for the Dominican Day Parade. I spoke to him. And he's like, I have a rematch clause, but they kind of want to pay me a step aside for the rematch. He's like, I'm about to do just what Wilder did. I'm about to just go to court, and they're going to give him a date. And if not, they're just going to have to, So either way, it's a lot of things going on. I feel like a lot of things with Turki Al-Sheikh are starting to see, like, he has the money, but he's lacking a lot of things. Like, I was on his boat, but I feel like he's lacking a lot of things just because you got money, you're missing. Like, Canelo Crawford hasn't had no type of promotion. Like, no type of promotion, no all access, nothing. How you don't have, you get what I'm saying? Like, you got to sell fights. Like, and maybe if this fight was at the T-Mobile Arena, then you can say people are going to come. But when I'm going to be there, don't get me wrong, but to try to sell 55,000, we don't even have an undercard yet. And the fight's basically a month away. A lot of things are going on, man. I feel like he's got to get it together. The money doesn't mean you have everything because a lot of these guys have the experience. So let's see, man. Let's see. I feel like 2026, we'll really see what he's about when the dust clears. I feel like the dust will clear a little bit after the Canelo fight. We kind of see what's next for Canelo, what's next for everybody else. Top Rank, we should have an idea more with Top Rank because Top Rank is officially out of TV. but they're officially done after this year. Like they still can actually put on another show, but they don't have no fighters to put on another show. They don't have no available fighters right now because their contract was to the end of the year. So if they really wanted to, they could have put another show, whether it be in Las Vegas, New York, or whatever the case may be. But they chose not to, surprisingly. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Hey, listen. So we got some more cheese man. You know, I love the cheese man, David. Teofimo Lopez is screaming for Ryan. He says Ryan's hiding, but Shakur Stevens is coming to say, I ain't hiding. I'm right here. Look for me. What do you make of all that, David?
What about as far as Teofimo and Shakur?
Yeah. Is that going to happen?
I don't know, bro. It could happen. But is it a fight that I care to see? Actually, not really, man. I really liked Shakur's last performance. I thought it was a little bit reckless, a little bit more reckless. He didn't have to be that engaging, or like the part where he's laying against the ropes versus Cepeda. He didn't have to do all that, right? I thought he was very entertaining when he was fighting in the pocket with Cepeda, and he was clearly the better fighter. But he's already said he's not going to fight like that anymore. He felt like he got hit too much in that fight, which, yeah, he did, but no, he didn't. He still looked pretty clean when he came out of that fight.
Yeah.
So all that to say this, Shakur is going to go back to his stick and move, very safety first, cautious style. Do I want to see that versus a fighter like Teofimo, who has problems with movers and guys who can jump in and out of range and use lateral movement? That doesn't sound like an entertaining fight to me. I don't care to see it. But will it lead to something? On the one chance, if Shakur is planning to move up to 140 and he wants to stay there and campaign at 140, then yeah, let's go ahead and see it then. Because if he beats Teofimo, he gets the belts, and now he's got to compete against the 140 pounders out there. I'd like to see that in that case. But if he's just going to go up to fight Teofimo and then go back down to 135, man, I'd rather see him fight another 135 pounder. Go start unifying the belts.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, listen, Mile High, we got Teofimo calling out Ryan. And then, Ryan's in a higher weight class. And then you got Shakur from a lower weight class saying, hey, I'm right here. What do you think of all that? And if one of them did happen, which one is more realistic? Mile High, you there?
I think the Teofimo Ryan fight, I think Teofimo makes Ryan look real bad. But Oscar's interested in working with Teofimo. He said on live he likes him. He likes doing business with him. That he would even like to sign him and promote him. So I think they have a pretty good relationship. Ryan likes, or Oscar likes the way he promotes himself. That he's always flamboyant, and so like I said, they're used to doing business. Shakur, I wouldn't mind seeing that fight either, man. I wouldn't mind seeing those two fight either. Those two very skilled dudes in the ring. Let's see if Teofimo can get better, cut off the ring, and give him problems. We know Teofimo's slick as well. You know what I mean? He looked good in that whole New York card. He's the only one who showed up, really. You know what I mean? And really performed. So salute to him. I thought he was being too much of a showman, but look, he's the one who came out and performed the most. So, and like I said, I think he makes Ryan look bad, and Ryan isn't really on good terms with Oscar, telling him, "Hey, get me those big fights, or don't even call me." Being very disrespectful. But that's the day's age now. You know what I mean? So I guess that sells fights too. Telling your promoter to,
Yeah. Yeah. Hey,
Hey,
Boxer
Mile
with
High,
Chris,
real quick.
what
I
do
want
you
to
think,
jump
man?
in on what you said about that, man. I
Go ahead,
agree,
David.
dude.
Then I'll move to Chris. Go ahead.
Yeah. I just want to jump in on that one little point. I think you're right, man. I think Oscar is kind of tired of the bullshit with Ryan, all the BS that he has to put up with. I think he would love to put Teofimo and Ryan against one another, and I think Teofimo wins that fight, hands down. I think he does. So
easy.
That way he gets Ryan out of his life, and he gets Teofimo a big win, and then they work together in the future after some point. I think that's the play.
Chris, now can Oscar De La Hoya, who one time fought 13 times in 1 year, by the way, just want to throw that in there, man. Can Oscar De La Hoya put Tio and Ryan together, even though there's such a big weight gap there. I mean, shit, Brian could be a middleweight if he wants. Or would you like to see him against a Shakur, man? What do you think?
I don't know, because I'm a big T.O. guy, but where T.O. is, like, I tell people we can't be living off that Josh Taylor performance. That was 2 years ago. The Barbosa performance was good enough, but he's just been hot and cold at 140 with only one stoppage, being his first fight against Ocampo was his name. So it's like he hasn't really wowed me at 140 other than the Josh Taylor fight. I always thought that Barbosa, Ramirez were guys that he would, have good fights against. He had his chance to make his name against the Devin Haney fight, and Devin Haney's just been capitalizing off his mistakes. So I kind of don't know what's wrong with Teofimo Lopez. He's like stepping on his own career right now. Like, nobody's hindering him. A lot of guys want to fight him. He's just hindering his own career. I don't know what it is with him at this point. He's got one of the top 5 best resumes in boxing. So I don't know why he keeps shooting himself in the foot and then putting the cast on the wrong side. That's what he's doing at this point, because he wanted the boot before the Boots fight. He wanted the Brian Norman fight. He didn't get it. Devin Haney's now got it. You wanted the Haney fight. You got it. They were tripling your highest payday, upwards up to $10 million. You made your first $1 million dealing with Turki Al-Rashid. So anything, he's already making you $1 million, and why not just take the fight? I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on with Tio, man. I don't know. I haven't been really impressed. Good performance against Barbosa, but his career at 140, which is, if I'm not mistaken, has been Ocampo, Martin, Taylor, Jermaine Ortiz, Steve Claggett, and now that was Arnold Barbosa, 6 fights. He definitely his career at 140. If I had to give it a letter grade, considering he's had one great performance, I'll have to give it a C plus, maybe a B. So he needs another big fight ASAP. So for him, don't step in that ring if it's not with a Subriel Matias, a Richardson Hitchison. You've been at that division, my friend, almost 3 years now. You need a unification. There's no reason why you shouldn't be unifying or having these big fights. Like, if he would have never unified, but he would have went and took the Haney fight, that would have been perfectly understandable. Devin Haney was willing to stay at 140 for him, a guy that we know definitely is shrinking his body. So I don't know why he didn't take that fight. So he can't. I don't know. Like I said, when it comes to him, we're in the limbo. He's just gonna have to prove it to me at this point.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
Chris,
It is
you didn't like
Go ahead.
his performance versus Barbosa? I thought he looked good, man.
It was good, but like I said, he's been 6 fights at 140. So if you've had a good performance against Barbosa and a great performance with Josh Taylor, mediocre against Jermaine Ortiz,
Absolutely.
Steve Claggett was mediocre. Sandor Martin, you can arguably beat him, and Ocampo, he was a good guy at the time. He was about a top 15 guy. So you're moving up in the weight class after a loss. Let's not forget, he moved to 140 after the George Kambosos loss. So I wouldn't expect you to jump in the ring in a new weight class with the best fighter. But he also had the biggest career payday before Turki Al-Rashid stepped in. Top Rank was going to put him on pay-per-view, $4 million against Subriel Matias. He turned it down. The first time Subriel Matias turned it down because he said, I'm not fighting because my hand's not right. But once my hand is right, let's do it. We can fight in New York. We can fight in Vegas, wherever you want to go. They were willing to put the fight in Vegas, give him a $4 million purse, and he still didn't take it. So at this stage, like I said, he's shooting his own self in the foot, man. There's no excuses. He's just lucky that guys still want to fight him. That's the only thing that's kind of saving him in a way. Guys still want to fight him. So if he gets his business-ish in order, he should be all right. He's with Keith Colony. Keith Colony right now is the fucking man, agent-wise. He's gotten all these guys paid. Berlanga, Hitchinson, Alicia Baumgartner, Connor Ben. He's getting these guys the fights that they want, and he's getting them paid. He's the only one that hasn't been capitalizing.
I mean, it's kind of the alliances they've been making, though, right? Like Baumgartner went with MVP. Of course, they're paying their fighters very well. Hitchens got a title shot. Of course, you're going to make the most money you ever made on a title shot in most cases. Teofimo had that one fight under Turki Al-Rashid, again, another guy who throws out paydays. So, I mean, he's just kind of steering them in the direction of the money, which it's always there. Those options have always been there. I think you're right, man. But I just got to say, Teofimo is like, what have you done for me lately? He had a great performance just in May against a top 140 pounder or one of the top 140 pounders in Barbosa, who was on a streak. He was on a streak of good wins for a minute. So, I think he gets some props for that. But you're not wrong. 140, Teofimo isn't the 135 Teofimo.
He needs another fight. He didn't take no punishment in that fight. He definitely should be back in the ring. He should be in the ring by the holidays. I want to see him in by October, November. There's no excuse for him to take the rest of the year off. You didn't take any punishment. You had a good performance. The reason I give him, respect for the performance against Barbosa, because Barbosa been calling him out for years. I got interviews with Barbosa. Wait till I catch Teofimo. Wait till when he got in the ring with him, he was.
But all that meant nothing, dude. It was a lot of this. You know what I'm saying? Like
he swept, and then he mopped the floor with the Fabuloso with him. So
he's one of the most talented boxer in that division. He's talented. His problem is he is not active enough. And in his age, that's what he has to be, active. He should be fighting 3-4 times a year.
Yes, yeah. But I feel like all fighters don't even. It's rare that you get a fighter to fight twice a year, even now.
Yeah,
it's really.
They want every day to be a big payday. You know what I mean? It's like I said, and then you get less for your money. We seen and you know what? No one paid for that New York fight, but it was garbage. Let's be honest, that was garbage, bro. That New York fight was garbage. I don't even know what they would think. It just shows. And then Conor Ben and this guy says Conor Hen. Hey man, that was one of him and Eubank Jr. That was one of the baddest fights this year so far. I think that's almost up there for fight of the year. So those dudes showed heart, man. They showed heart. They were fighting for legacy. It was more than just a bag. You know what I mean? This was for their dad's legacy. That's what I want to see. I want to see the fights where these guys leave their heart in the ring, not just try to cruise to a win or I'm just there for the bag and I'm gonna fight some dude, old man who has no legs, can't cut the ring off, and I'm just gonna dance. It's sad. It's sad. It's disrespectful to the sport. It's disrespectful to us as fans. I don't like this new generation of fighters. So maybe they do need a pay scale because some of these performances are just lackluster, man.
I feel like Tio gets me upset because a guy that's so athletic struggles with guys that are just slightly forward. I'm like, you're so athletic yourself. How is a guy that's nowhere near athletic as you is giving you issues?
Yeah, it's so like a mental thing, right?
Maybe kind of like once he can't hit a guy is when he gets frustrated. So that Jermaine Ortiz Sandor Martin fight tells you everything you need to know about Teofimo at 140.
Yeah.
Hey, did you notice though, Mile High, going back to your point about like fighters not performing well? You notice that all of the fighters that didn't do that were all American fighters. I'm seeing this more with the American boxers, man. If you look at Japan, you got guys over there throwing down. You look at the UK, you mentioned Conor Ben and Chris Eubank throwing down. Guys in Mexico throwing down. Anywhere else in the world, you see guys throwing down. But it's mostly in the American boxers where you see this shit where they're like, "Oh, I'm trying to save myself. I'll win tonight, look better in the next fight," right? Like
it is that Mayweather thought process, man. Let's protect the O at any cost. Let's look for a way to fight and be always like in control. Let's make this guy hydrate. That's bullshit, man. If you want to fight at that weight class, fight at that weight class. Don't be no chicken shit, man. I was looking like, let's say if Tank and you know what, I like Tank, very talented. But let's be honest, if he's done for real, he don't even have a better resume than AB. He don't have a better resume than Adrian Broner. You can't. To me, is he really the face of boxing? I'm like, come on, man.
Nah, he's just a good ticket seller. He's about it. He's a good ticket seller.
I mean, I'm not sold. I'm not sold on the kid. I've seen him tested, and I watched him. Like I said, in that fight, man, that was, to me, that was a disrespectful whole thing on the sport. But then again, it is what it is. This is boxing. There's always been controversies. I've seen it where I thought, my fighter won, and I was happy, and when Chavez beat Melzer Taylor, a lot of people call bullshit, and I see their point. But I'm gonna be honest, I was happy with that. But at the end of the day, it happens sometimes. You know, this is boxing. It's not all that. That's what we love about it, the controversy.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Chris, I'm gonna go with you on this one because you broke this news to me today and told me to add it on the list for topics. We have Benavides going in December. Is that right? Do we have an opponent? If not, who would you like to see him against?
No, it was Berlanga. He posted
Oh,
a
it's Berlanga. Okay, it was not
he
Benavides. It was
posted he
Berlanga.
posted dinner with his agent, the baddest man right now in the game. I consider him the baddest agent right now in the game, and Keith Connolly, stating he's back in December. But my question to you guys is that too soon, considering he just got stopped? Some people
So
say
it's Berlanga. It's
yeah.
Berlanga that's coming back. Is that too soon? Yeah, he went through hell right now. I don't think he should be back. I didn't even think he was going to be back until February. That's pretty surprising that he's coming back in December. Mile High, what do you think, man? Boxing with Chris, ask him that question again.
We'll see, man. December, Edgar Berlanga. He got stopped in the 5th round, so some people probably gonna look at it like 5th round stoppage, July 11th, August, September, October. You get the 3 months off. You go back in maybe 2nd week of October. That gives you enough for about an 8 to 10 week camp. But boxers were doing it back then, so we can't be hypocrites. Guys back then used to get stopped worse and will come back 5-6 months later.
2 weeks.
So I don't think it's that bad. And then consider he went out kind of early. He went out before the second half. Like if maybe they were trading, fucking bombs, and then he gets brutalized maybe 9th or 10th round after already accumulating a certain amount of punishment. But considering he didn't give out a lot of punishment and he took some, but in a short amount of time, I don't see why not. And then it also depends on who he's fighting. They're really trying to do this Gabe Rosado thing. It should be interesting.
Yeah.
So I gotta say, man, that fight where Berlanga got stopped by Shiraz, that wasn't like a brutal war. It didn't really heat up until after the
third
first
round.
rounds, right?
Like the first 2 rounds were technical.
Yeah.
Mid-3rd round, Shiraz lands the big early shot with the uppercut. With the 4th round, he knocks him down. 15 seconds into the 5th round, he stops him.
Yeah. So it wasn't like a brutal back and forth.
Yeah,
war.
it wasn't
so
none of that. I wouldn't consider it. Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah. So I think it's fair. Like I think a December return, that you laid it out, the time frame, it's a good enough rest, good recovery. The question that you laid out to me, what matters is who is he facing? Who's gonna be fighting in the ring?
If it's not Gabe Rosado, I could see him fighting another tomato can. But I don't know. Well, how it shouldn't be a killer. How should the tune-up process be? I feel like elite fighters should take one fight and then go back into competition. But guys that still have a lot to work on, their tune-up process should be a little different. Like I like the way they're building Diego Pacheco. Sulecki. He's fighting these former contenders, these former guys that's been in there with these guys. He hasn't taken that route. He's more popular than them. And then he goes and he gets the Canelo fight. He's riding on a high horse because he didn't get knocked out. So maybe this humbles him. This is how I kind of feel with Tank. I feel like Tank was feeling himself ever since the Ryan Garcia. Because after the Ryan Garcia, that's when he started pulling out a lot of antics, going to press conferences 3 hours late. He started doing that after Ryan Garcia. I've been covering Tank his whole career. He's always been an asshole, with the not answering questions sometimes, but he was always professional, always at the media events. Now, ever since Ryan Garcia, he takes his time. He's there 3 hours late. And a lot of maybe it's just a wake-up call that these guys needed. Social media will also be hard on you. The fight was a month ago, but I'm pretty sure he still scrolls and see the memes and everything. So, and it was a satisfying ass whooping to a lot of people. So maybe this will put him on the right track.
Yeah, Mile High. Why don't you add to that? Is Berlanga coming back too soon? You're a professional boxer. Let us know. And who would you like to see him against, man?
I'd like the Gabe Rosado fight for him to come back to. That's a good, that's a good little test. You know what I'm saying? And I like that he's getting back on the horse. He could take a shot, man. He got hit by a big boy. That boy, he hit him with some good bombs, man. And he was still game. He still had some dog in him, ready to fight. I didn't see no quit in him. Salute to him to getting back into the ring after being stopped. You know what I mean? You were, against a bigger opponent. and you were just outgunned on that night. He looked good in the first 2 rounds. He boxed pretty decent, and then it turned into a firefight, and he didn't have enough. So I don't know. I like the fact that he's willing to get right back into the ring, get on the horse. That it's a mental battle. It's more a mental battle than it is a physical, I think. But I like the Gabe Rosado fight for him.
Yeah, yeah. David, what do you did you chime in on that one?
Yeah, kind of. And I agree with Mile High and boxing with Chris. I think as long as he's not coming in against top 10 guy, because I don't think Berlanga is ready for that elite level. So a Gabe Rosado, I think that's a perfect. If you can't beat Gabe Rosado, man, even coming off of a knockout loss, you need to come off another career.
It's like, you know what it is? It's hard because you gotta face a couple of those guys. Like when I look at his contraries, like I said, Diego Pacheco, Sulecki, the other guys, what's the other guy the first guy to knock down Berlanga on the Tyson Fury undercard? The Argentinian guy had the Argentinian guy.
Yeah.
So because he's got some common opponents with Berlanga. Jaime, he fought John Ryder, he fought Gabe Rosado, he fought some good veterans to get ready for Canelo. He didn't. He got the Canelo fight due to Canelo not fighting wanting to fight Benavidez, and due to the fact that he has a little bit of stardom. Like I said, he's a C to C plus fighter with B to B plus popularity. At the day, you got to put ass in the seats, and he can put a couple thousand asses in the seats, depending on where you at. And I don't know. Like I said, maybe this humbled him. Maybe this humbles him. Maybe he just knows, because at this point in this career, he's made a lot of money, more than a lot of guys already.
A ton of guys.
He's made more money than a ton of guys. So a lot of people look at him like maybe right now he gets a tune-up and he just starts going after the guys that were calling him out and ride off into the sunset. Because a lot of unless these belts aren't holding up, you're not going to get a Canelo rematch. So your best bet is trying to take out these contraries, these Caleb Plants. I don't see him really getting a Jamal Charlo fight. Considering him and Jaime Munguia have both been stopped, I feel like the fight is more interesting now. Because at first, remember, Jaime was stopped first. I was one of the first guys. This fight lost some sizzle, but now both guys have been stopped.
Yeah.
So the fight definitely has some good life to the fight.
That would be an entertaining and money-making fight right there, because it's Puerto Rico, Mexico.
Sign me up. Sign me up, man. I think that's the perfect fight.
I don't see why not. I don't see the holdup. I mean, but then he's a promotional free agent, though. Let's not forget. He, at his last fight on that Caribe Royale co-main, after that, he went and signed a one-fight deal with the Ring Magazine. So he's a pro. People are even saying, who knows what he's going to do. If he goes re-up with Eddie Hearn after all the shit that they talked, he's definitely not going back to Top Rank, and he's definitely not going to Oscar De La Hoya.
But why not? Because at Top Rank, there's no real bad blood there. It wasn't like a bad split.
From what I hear with Top Rank, he was jealous of what Shakur and Teofimo were getting. Because he went Teofimo at that time. Shakur Stevenson selling out the Prudential Center 13,000. Teofimo was the last male fighter to get the big room in Madison Square Garden against Sandor Martin. Let's not forget. So he's looking at it. I'm more popular than these guys. Why am I still getting the Hulu Theater? And he goes signs with Eddie Hearn, and his first fight was at the fucking Hulu Theater against Jason Quigley. So my thing is, the only thing you signed with Eddie Hearn was for the Canelo fight, because his big thing was like, oh, I should be a bigger star. But when they were giving you these guys at 160 pounders with Triple G, you didn't stop them. You look bad, Angulo, common opponent with David Benavidez, you bit him. Steve Rose was 160 pounder coming on 168, and you struggled. So he's also kind of shot himself in the foot. It's just his popularity has saved him. His popularity has saved him, considering that he is more popular. He's definitely more popular than a lot of these guys. If you put him, Richardson, Hitchens, Teofimo Lopez to walk down in Times Square, whether they throw cans at Berlanga, they at least know who Berlanga is.
Yeah.
So
yeah. All right, guys, let's have some fun here now, man. We all grew up loving boxing. Let's have a trivia question here. Who are your top 3 middleweights of all time, and rank them and state your case why they're the best of all time. I'll go ahead and start with David De Leon.
Hey man, look, dude,
Hear that shit?
I grew up with ESPN Classic, so I've heard a lot of names, from back in the day, from the fighters that I've seen, because the middleweight division has a big, long history, man. I've got to throw in Marvin Hagler, Sugar Ray Robinson, and Carlos Monzon, right? Monzon had 14 straight title defenses. Hagler was the best middleweight in the world for like 10 years. Sugar Ray Robinson, again, one of the greatest fighters ever. And he was actually a better welterweight, but there's not a lot of film on him on welterweight. But he had a crazy record too. But when I was looking this up, man, I mean, there are guys like Harry Greb that we don't talk about, right? He had over like 300 fights and he only lost 8. Bob Fitzsimmons, middleweight, but he has beaten Jack Dempsey at heavyweight, and he beat James J. Corbett with a body shot, one punch. So he was known for being a crazy puncher. Like, those are guys that need to be mentioned as well. I haven't seen a lot or any film on those guys. Just, the stories and the lore about them. But those would be my 3, man. Monzon, Hagler, and Sugar Ray Robinson.
That's a solid list. You left Oscar off because I don't think he ever got the middleweight one, right?
He fought when he fought B-Hop, but that shouldn't count.
Or did he beat Oscar?
I'm sorry, I love B-Hop, but his biggest 2 wins came against welterweights.
All right, Chris, give us your top 3 of all time and state your case and rank them.
Oh, man. Number 1, I think I'm going to have to go, when you look at the complete package, I think it's a hard 1A, 1B between Roy Jones and Marvin Hagler. Due to the accomplishments, the 10 straight years of defenses, B-Hop.
Yes.
Definitely got to go with, believe it or not, the Triple G. Never been down, never been stopped. Arguably never lost that middleweight if you really think about it. Because I feel like he beat Canelo the first time. The second fight was a draw. He went up to 168 for the third fight. Right. And then honorable mention, my guy, Joe Calzaghe, man. Undefeated.
Oh, man.
168.
Boy.
Oh, man.
Wait. He's a 168 pounder, wasn't he?
Middleweight, isn't he?
Yeah.
Calzaghe's what? Yeah.
Yeah.
Consider him a middleweight before he went up. So,
but was he a champ at middleweight?
At 60, no, but he had a good career at 60, but he made his name at 60, but the biggest fights came at 168. So,
at 68, yeah.
So if you want, that's why I say honorable mention. I didn't put him in there, honorable mention. So, but I'm definitely taking out the 1A, 1B. Due to the full package, I'm probably gonna have to throw Roy Jones, Marvin Hagler, and Gennady. Or you could put it in, like, if you want to put it 1A, 1B, then it could definitely be between Roy Jones and Marvin, B-Hop, and then Triple G.
Yeah, that's a good list. Good explanation there. Mile High, the professional boxer. Thank you for giving us your time, man. I know you're always training, man. What's up, man? Who do you got?
I got to go with Sugar Ray Robinson, number 1. Number 2, I go Roy Jones Jr. And I got to give his dues. This is a tough one. I was gonna pick between Roy Jones and James Toney. So, not Roy Jones. I'm sorry, B-Hop and James Toney. But I got to go with B-Hop just because he, fought over multiple generations. Got to go with the alien.
Yeah,
he had a sick run at middleweight. He had a sick run. I mean, he broke Monzon's record, right?
I believe Bernard did.
Yeah, he broke it.
Yeah.
I think Bernard broke like all the records at middleweight. That's why he's a lot of people.
It was a pretty weak division, though.
I've always said that, like, Usyk gets that flag. Heavyweight is thing with Usyk. Like, I get that a lot. Like, if when the division is not as stacked, I feel like as long as you beat the guys in your division, you'll be okay. Because we can't say, but he didn't fight such and such, because he fought everybody at middleweight. The same thing with Usyk. he fought everybody, and he beat them all more than once if he had any doubt. So I feel like as long as you fight the people that's in front of you, we can't really like. Remember, people kind of said that about Terence Crawford when he became undisputed at 140, and Don Gould, Thomas Delorme. Oh, who the fuck are these guys? So I feel like it depends on how you take it. So
Yeah, no, I had Hagler on top of everybody, Bernard and Carlos Monzon, all those guys, just because of the longevity. And Hagler was one of my first favorite fighters, I believe. I don't remember, but it was either him or Larry Holmes were my favorite, you know. But I was too young to remember which one came first. But yeah, that was my favorite. But yeah, Hagler, Bernard, Monzon. There's a good movie on Carlos Monzon on Netflix, man. Y'all should go check that out. Really good movie, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for sure, man. You know
Yeah, really good
what it's
movie. Well,
called?
listen, man. Thank you guys for joining us, man. Mile High, thank you very much. What's coming up, Mile High? What's coming up for you, man? Are you gonna go spar in South California with Cholo Trucker and Chicano Tube and all them?
Yeah, I'm gonna go do that. Problem is they're talking no headgear. I have a contract, issue with guys, my promoter here and there. I did take a little heat from the Denver Boxing Commission for that fight. So I
This
got to
last
be
one?
real careful, and then plus I don't want to get butted or get a cut. You know what I mean? It has nothing. We know you get knocked out with headgear. Headgear doesn't predict nothing but cuts. That's the thing. I'm supposed to fight. We're gonna try to do a charity fight here in November. So looking to get on that card and see what's going on. But yeah, I want to go do it. You know what I mean? I want to go have fun with the guys, but at the same time, I gotta, I'm not from that city. I'm not from that state. So insurance, if I get cut or something, having to fly home with a butt or whatever, you never know. You're just in there throwing hands with somebody, heads can come together. It happens. Um, you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
probably the only thing holding me back.
Well, thanks, man. We got a couple of people still here, man. Tell them where they can find you. And Chris, we'll go next to you as well. Mahai,
Sorry, what was that, sir?
go ahead and tell them where they can find you, buddy.
Oh, you get at me at the Mile High Hustle on YouTube, man. I stream this as live to my audience as well, so everybody's welcome over there. It is the Denver Street Channel, but we're transitioning. You know what I mean? I'm going into the more positive direction. We do a lot of youth violence prevention at my gym. We work real closely with like I said, youth violence prevention. That's what my coach does, and it's awesome working with the kids. You know what I mean? It's more awesome than get preparing for a fight or even getting in the ring, but just to be an inspiration to some of these kids, being able to see the growth in them, and to just catch their attention. You know what I mean? If I heard someone talk down on a guy who was talking about boxing. He's from Vegas, and he was talking about how he left Denver because nobody was promoting him or helping him promote. That's the truth about my city. There's a lot of haterism over here. You know what I mean? And always guys competing, and that's what we do as Chicanos, Mexicanos. Sometimes we compete against our own and try to make them look bad. It's sad, but
Yeah,
at the same time, um, we do a lot of work with the kids, and I heard this guy talking, and this guy was like, "We got to do this, this, and this," and started putting on how to, get these kids financially, and that's all great, man. But some of these kids, we just got to talk to them about stopping and shooting each other. You know what I mean? He was talking about what he was using, what God had given him to reach the youth, and I was feeling what he was saying because he was like, "Man, this is what God's blessed me with. This is my avenue. This is my path." And these other guys were trying to put him down and be like, that's corny having these kids, these kids that are shooting each other are having these gang violence instead of trying to get them to get in a structured boxing. Boxing saves lives, man. Let's be honest. You know what I mean? He was like, well, these kids, he was talking real negative about it. And I was like, man, dude, you need to, sometimes boxing saves lives, but it gets people out of there. That gets them interested. It lets these kids know that they have a gift, they have an avenue. Yeah, it's not the most prettiest one, but some of these kids have been saved through that. You know what I mean? You see the up
yeah,
and coming
yeah,
kids, and you see that light burning bright, man. It's your job to pour into that, bud. So that's what it's really about at the end of the day. You know what I mean? I'm an older man. Let's be honest. I'm not gonna go compete for no title. I'm not looking for all that. I'm gonna do this as long as I can with the opponents that I can, the best that I can. Whoever my coach puts me up against, I'm willing to get in the ring with. And and I'll let God take it from there. You know what I mean? This is what God's opened up for me. This is what my avenue. So to me, I felt what that guy was saying because I related to that because that's what's given me a path. Some of these
Yeah.
kids, my coach calls me, he's like, man, some of these kids look up to you. And at the same time, I'm like when a humble man, like when somebody gives me compliments, I get uncomfortable. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
get you. That's a very normal thing. You know what I mean? You get uncomfortable when someone gives you compliments or tries to like tell you something because it's hard for you to even believe sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, thank you for all the selfless work you do, man. And if you do anything, man, go follow Boxing with Chris. The guy's a triple threat. He's a photographer, he's a writer, and a journalist. Chris, man, where can they find you and where can they find some of your writing material, your work?
Boxing with Chris, nothing, no underscores, no numbers. Boxing with Chris on YouTube, spelled all together. Boxing with Chris on Instagram, and I got my guy. Hopefully, because even though I'm young, I don't know how to work the TikTok and the Twitter, so I got to get on that. Because right now I'm only YouTube and Instagram, so I'm trying to get my guy. He's a younger guy. I told him to help me out with the Twitter and everything. So hopefully I can get the Twitter going and the TikTok going. But for right now, Boxing with Chris on YouTube and on Instagram. And we just waiting for the next big fights. We're just marinating, and like I said, we're just waiting for the next big fights or the next big news to break in boxing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we are David De Leon, Mark Salinas, PYP Boxing, Putazos y Pendejadas. Mi raza, muchas gracias. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week, 8 o'clock.
Hey.
Thank you, gentlemen. You have a blessed night.
Thank you,
Thank you,
guys.